You ever notice how a baby comes into this world and folks say, that baby looked just like his daddy, or she got her mama's eyes? But here's the truth. Babies don't look like anybody for real. They just brand new, untouched, still figuring out who they are. And that's the thing about life. People don't just see you for who you are. They see you for how you show up. Respect don't come stamped on your forehead at birth. It ain't automatic like your last name. Respect is earned. And it's earned in the little choices you make, the way you carry yourself, the way you treat people, the way you hold your ground. See, we live in a world where everybody wants recognition, but very few people understand respect. Recognition is easy. You can post a picture online, crack a joke, get likes. But respect, that's deeper. That's the stuff that sticks when the lights go off and nobody's clapping. And here's the good part. Psychology Done showed us there are secrets, simple truths that can make people naturally respect you without you begging for it, without you putting on a show. You don't have to be the loudest in the room. You just got to be the realest in the room. Now I'm going to share with you 5 of those secrets. And if you hold on to them, if you live them out, you won't have to chase respect. It'll find you. Because at the end of the day, people might say you look like your mama or you got your daddy's smile, but when they talk about your respect, that's all you. That's what you built. You know what I learned about life. Talent will get you claps, but consistency will get you respect. See, everybody loves talent. We clap for it, we cheer for it, we put it on a stage. But here's the thing, talent alone don't mean nothing if you can't show up again tomorrow and the next day and the next. People don't respect you because you had one good moment. They respect you because you proved you could keep doing it when nobody was watching. Think about it. We all know somebody who got the skills, who got the gift, but you can't count on them. They show up late, they make promises they don't keep, they flash bright for a second and then disappear. You admire what they can do, but you don't respect how they live. Respect doesn't come from a highlight reel. It comes from the grind that nobody sees. Let me tell you something, consistency is boring. It's not glamorous. It's not Instagram worthy most of the time. It looks like setting your alarm, getting up when you said you would, doing the work when you don't feel like it. That's the stuff that separates the ones who get a round of applause for a minute and the ones who get their name spoken with respect for a lifetime. When people know they can count on you, they don't just clap for you, they trust you. And trust and respect walk hand in hand. I'll give you an example. You ever notice the people in your life who might not even be the most talented, but you go to them because you know they'll show up? It could be that co-worker who ain't the flashiest in the office, but they always get the job done right. Or that friend who might not have the best advice, but they're always there when you need them. You respect them because they show up. That's consistency. And in the long run, consistency beats talent every single time. See, the problem is most people want to show off. They want to do something once, make it look good, and get all the praise. But here's the truth. Showing off is a sprint, and respect is a marathon. People remember who was still running when the crowd stopped cheering. That's why athletes we admire the most aren't just the ones who won once, but the ones who stayed at the top for years. Anybody can have a good day, but can you stack good days together? That's where the respect comes in. Now, don't get me wrong, talent matters. But talent without consistency is like a car without gas. It looks good, it might impress somebody when it's parked, but it ain't taking you anywhere. Consistency is what fuels talent. It's the engine behind the gift. And if you think about it, even talent itself is built on consistency. Nobody wakes up a piano player. Nobody wakes up a leader. You practice, you fail, you repeat. You keep showing up until the thing that once looked like talent is really just the proof of your discipline. And let me tell you something about consistency. It don't care how you feel. You don't have to feel motivated to be consistent. Motivation is nice, but it's like weather. It comes and goes. Consistency is the umbrella you carry when the storm comes. It keeps you steady. And people respect steady. People respect what they can count on. Look around at the people you admire the most. Chances are they didn't just have one good break. They built a life of showing up, of being reliable, of being trustworthy. You start to realize the people you respect aren't the ones who talk the loudest, they're the ones who kept their word the longest. I'll say this too, consistency don't mean perfection. You don't have to get it right every single time. You just have to keep showing up. People respect the effort just as much as the result. They respect the fact that even when you fall short, you came back. You didn't quit. You didn't hide. You stayed in it. That's what makes people take you seriously. That's what makes your name carry weight when it's spoken in a room. Because here's the truth. Anybody can impress somebody once. But respect is built over time. Respect is when people know you're the same person on Tuesday that you were on Sunday. Respect is when people know your yes means yes and your no means no. Respect is when people can depend on you, whether the lights are on or off. And that's why I say consistency matters more than talent. Because talent might open the door, but consistency is what keeps you in the room. And when people see that, when they know you ain't just a one-hit wonder, but somebody who shows up rain or shine, they don't just clap for you, they stand for you. They respect you. One of the most powerful things I've ever learned about respect is this: people don't respect you for how much you talk. They respect you for how well you listen. See, a lot of folks walk into a conversation thinking respect comes from saying the smartest thing, giving the best advice, or being the loudest voice in the room. But the truth is, respect flows back to the one who makes others feel heard. Listening with intent is one of the simplest, most overlooked, but most powerful ways to earn respect. Now let me clear something up. Listening is not just keeping your mouth shut while somebody else talks. That's not listening, that's waiting your turn. Real listening is when you're locked in, when you're present, when you're not just hearing words, but actually paying attention to what's behind those words. That's intent. People can feel when you're with them in a conversation. They can feel when you're nodding just to be polite, and they can feel when you're truly invested in what they're saying. And when they feel that, it changes how they see you. They feel valued. And when people feel valued, respect naturally flows back your way. Think about the last time you really felt heard. I mean, the last time somebody looked you in the eye, didn't check their phone, didn't cut you off, didn't jump in to fix your problem, just listened. Didn't it feel good? Didn't it feel like they actually cared? That feeling is rare, and that's why it's so powerful. When you give someone your attention like that, it's like giving them a gift money can't buy. And people respect the ones who make them feel seen and understood. Let me tell you something. Most people don't need you to solve their problems. They just need you to hear their problems. Half the time, people already know the answer, but they need to say it out loud. And they need to feel like someone respects them enough to listen without judgment. And if you can be that person, you don't just get their gratitude, you get their respect. Now, I know what some people are thinking. I don't have time to sit and listen to everybody's issues. But here's the thing. It's not about how much time you give. It's about how present you are in the time you do give. A 5-minute conversation where you're fully engaged is worth more than an hour of distracted half listening. Quality beats quantity every time. And when you're intentional with your listening, people don't forget that. Listening with intent also teaches you more than talking ever will. You learn about people, about life, about opportunities, about yourself. You pick up details that others miss. And the more you know, the wiser you sound when you do speak. Funny enough, the best talkers are usually the best listeners first. They gather, they absorb. Then, when they finally open their mouths, people lean in because they know this person doesn't waste words. That's another layer of respect you can't buy. Another thing about listening is it builds trust. See, when people feel like you actually hear them, they start to open up more. They share things they wouldn't normally share. And once somebody trusts you enough to open up, they see you as safe, reliable, and strong. Respect is built on trust, and trust is built on listening. I'll give you a simple example. Imagine 2 managers at work. One is always talking, giving orders, telling everybody what to do, but never really listens to the team. The other one takes time to sit with people, hear their concerns, ask questions, and really consider their answers before making decisions. Which one do you think the team respects more? Not the loud one. Respect doesn't come from how much authority you show. It comes from how much humanity you show. Listening with intent also means putting aside your ego. Sometimes you got to resist the urge to jump in with your story or your solution. You know that person who always flips the conversation back to themselves. Oh, you're tired? Man, you think you're tired? Let me tell you about my week. That doesn't earn respect. That makes people feel unseen. Real respect grows when you make space for somebody else's story without trying to top it. And here's the beauty of it. When you're a good listener, you don't even have to demand respect. People give it to you naturally because you gave them something priceless first, your attention. And respect built that way lasts longer than any title, any paycheck, or any applause. So remember this, when you walk into a room, it's not about being the smartest voice or the loudest presence. It's about being the one who listens like every word matters. Because to the person speaking, every word does matter. And when you honor that, when you listen with intent, you'll be surprised how much people start to honor you in return. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn about respect is this right here: people will only treat you the way you allow them to. You can talk about respect all day long. You can tell people how you want to be treated, but if your actions don't line up, your words don't mean nothing. Boundaries are how you teach people who you are and what you will and will not accept. And the thing about boundaries is, they don't need a big announcement. You don't have to walk into a room with a speech about what you'll tolerate. Boundaries show up in how you carry yourself, in the choices you make, and in the way you enforce them quietly but firmly. See, a lot of us struggle with boundaries because we think if we set them, people won't like us. We're scared of conflict, scared of losing relationships, scared of looking selfish. But here's the truth. When you don't have boundaries, people might like you, but they won't respect you. They'll take what they can, they'll push as far as you let them, and they'll treat you like a doormat because you laid yourself down. Respect doesn't grow in the absence of boundaries. Respect grows when people know you value yourself enough to draw a line. Think about it. If you tell somebody, don't call me after 10 at night, but every time they call at midnight you pick up, you just taught them that your words don't matter. But if you don't answer, if you call back the next day and say, hey, I was resting, we can talk now, they'll learn. You didn't argue. You didn't raise your voice. You just showed them how to treat you. That's the power of boundaries. They teach without preaching. And boundaries aren't just about saying no to others. They're also about saying yes to yourself. You're saying, my peace matters. My time matters. My energy matters. That's why people respect someone with boundaries. Because when you respect yourself enough to protect what's important, others take notice. They might not like it at first, but they'll learn to adjust. And the ones who truly care about you will honor it. Let me tell you something. Boundaries are not walls. Some people confuse the two. Walls shut everybody out, but boundaries let the right people in and keep the wrong behaviors out. It's about balance. You can still be loving, generous, and kind while having boundaries. In fact, boundaries make your kindness stronger because it comes from a place of choice, not from being drained or forced. People respect kindness more when they know it's real, not when it's born out of guilt or fear. Now, boundaries can be uncomfortable at first. People who are used to you always saying yes, always bending, always giving in, they're not going to clap when you change. They might push back. They might call you difficult, selfish, or cold. But that's just the discomfort of change. The same people who get mad at your boundaries will be the ones who end up respecting you more in the long run. Because deep down, everybody knows boundaries equal self-respect. And when you respect yourself, you set the standard for how others will treat you. I'll give you a simple picture. Imagine your life like a house. If you don't lock your doors, if you don't set any rules, people will walk in, track mud on the carpet, eat your food, and leave a mess. And you can't even blame them because you left the door wide open. But when you lock your doors, when you say, take your shoes off before you come in, you're not being rude. You're protecting your home. That's what boundaries are, locks on the doors of your life. And people respect a house that's cared for. Another thing, boundaries don't have to be loud. Some of the strongest boundaries are silent. You don't owe everybody an explanation. Sometimes it's just a quiet decision. You stop answering certain calls. You stop saying yes to things that drain you. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't care. Your absence from toxic spaces speaks louder than any speech you could give. That silence is a boundary too, and it teaches people just as clearly. You can't treat me any kind of way and still have access to me. Boundaries also help you keep your dignity. When you don't have them, you end up overextending, overgiving, and over-explaining until you're resentful. But when you set boundaries, you keep your peace intact. And people pick up on that. They can see when you move with dignity, when you're not desperate for approval, when you're not bending just to be liked. That kind of self-respect demands respect from others. And here's the real beauty of it. Boundaries don't just protect you, they inspire others. When somebody sees you protecting your peace, they start thinking, maybe I can do that too. They see you value yourself, and it gives them permission to value themselves. Respect spreads like that. It starts with one person drawing a line, and before you know it, it changes how everybody moves. So don't ever feel guilty for having boundaries. Don't ever apologize for teaching people how to treat you, because you're not just protecting your peace, you're building your respect, and the quiet strength of your boundaries will say more about you than any speech ever could. One of the biggest secrets about respect is this: people believe in you at the level you believe in yourself. If you walk into a room doubting who you are, second, guessing every move you make, carrying yourself like you don't deserve to be there, people pick up on that energy instantly. But when you carry yourself with confidence, when you walk like you belong, when you speak like you know your worth, that belief spreads. Confidence is contagious. The way you feel about yourself leaks into the way others feel about you. See, a lot of us wait for people to respect us before we respect ourselves. We want the world to clap first, and then we'll stand tall. But it doesn't work like that. Respect always starts on the inside. People can't give you what you don't already give yourself. If you treat yourself like you're unworthy, they will too. If you treat yourself like you're valuable, they'll have no choice but to respond to that. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's simply a declaration. I know who I am, and I'm not apologizing for it. Now, don't get me wrong, confidence doesn't mean you never feel fear or doubt. Everybody feels that. Confidence means you move anyway. It's not the absence of fear. It's the decision that fear won't run your life. And people respect that kind of boldness because it's rare. Most people shrink. Most people play small because they're worried about failing, about being judged, about not being good enough. But when they see somebody stand tall in spite of those feelings, it sparks something. It makes them believe maybe they can stand tall too. Confidence shows up in the little things. The way you speak clear, direct, no need to mumble or apologize for existing. The way you walk into a room, head up, shoulders back, not hiding, not waiting for permission. The way you make eye contact, looking at people like you're equal, not like you're beneath them. Those little signals tell people, without you saying a word, I respect myself, and you will too. And let me tell you something, confidence doesn't come from being perfect. If you're waiting until you have no flaws, no mistakes, no failures, you'll never have it. Confidence comes from owning who you are, flaws and all. It comes from saying, yes, I've failed before. Yes, I've made mistakes, but I'm still standing, and I still matter. People don't respect perfection because nobody believes in it, but people deeply respect authenticity. And true confidence is just authenticity lived out loud. Think about the people you admire. I guarantee you, part of what draws you to them is their confidence. They make you feel something just by the way they carry themselves. They don't have to beg for respect because their self-belief commands it. That's why leaders are respected, not because they always have the right answers, but because they have the confidence to step forward when others hang back. Confidence makes people trust you, even when the situation is uncertain. They think, if they believe, maybe I can too. But here's the catch. Confidence isn't something you put on like an outfit. You can't fake it for long. Real confidence is built through action. It's built by keeping promises to yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, every time you push through something hard, every time you survive something you thought would break you, a little more confidence is built. And that confidence starts to show. It radiates without you forcing it. Confidence also means not begging for approval. Respect doesn't come to people who chase it. It comes to people who stand firm in who they are, whether anyone claps or not. When you stop living for applause and start living from conviction, that's when you gain respect. Because people see you can't be bought, can't be swayed, can't be broken by outside opinion. That's power. And respect always follows power that's rooted in self-belief.